In today's video, we will be taking an overview and we'll be looking at the performance of this laptop. Yes, you heard me right. We're doing a laptop today. Something a little bit different on this channel. So this laptop is the Dell Latitude E5480. Now yes, this is quite an older laptop. It's actually Intel 6th gen. So it is a little bit old now. Obviously we're up to 13 and almost 14th gen Intel now, so this has been 6th gen. It's quite an older laptop, but I do think if you're looking for a laptop that's very, very cheap, and you don't want to go down the Chromebook sort of area, you know, you don't want to go down the Chromebook sort of side, which, let's be fair, the Chromebooks, although they're new, aren't particularly great laptops. Looking at an old Windows laptop could actually be the option for you. Of course, this is not a gaming laptop. I mean, that's clear. I've only paid £100 for this laptop. Well, £95 actually for this laptop. So this is not this is not going to game on. You know, that, let's put that to bed straight away. This is not a gaming laptop. But this is an alternative to a Google Chromebook, I would say. If you don't want to go down the Chromebook sort of area and you just want a very simple laptop to do all your sort of day-to-day tasks on, like you're checking your emails, loading up YouTube, Facebook, what have you, you know, browsing the web, Office documents, Office Excel, you know, Word and Excel sort of spreadsheets and documents and what have you, and just doing general sort of day-to-day tasks on a nice portable laptop, really, you know. And like I say, it is quite lightweight. So let's take a look at this laptop now, and we'll go from there. So first of all, I think this is a 14-inch laptop, but I'll put it below if I've made a mistake there. But I think this is the 14-inch one. This is by Dell, obviously, and it's got quite a basic screen. Let's have a look here. It's first of all, it does actually have a webcam, so that's okay. I think it might not actually be 1080p. I think it might only be 720p webcam, but I can put it below if not. Decent sized screen. Obviously this is a older laptop, so you are going to get like that very sort of bezel look, where obviously in the more sort of, even the newer Chromebooks now and even the newer laptops, obviously you're going to have to pay a lot more money for a newer laptop, but this sort of like bezeled sort of look has kind of been taken away a little bit more, and it's a little bit more sort of flush now. So you will have to put up with that, but this is still a decent screen. This is still adequate, and again, for basic day-to-day tasks, this is going to be perfect. Now the keyboard here, I'm actually quite impressed with. I actually think it's quite nice, and I was just typing on it before, and I actually felt it was quite nice to use. And if you are coming from maybe a gaming PC and you're more used to a mechanical keyboard, obviously you might like that, but at the same time it might be a little bit easier just to type on these keyboards, because like the key press is very, very small, and it's quite light as well, the keyboard, where a mechanical keyboard is very sort of heavy, and if you're typing on that for hours upon hours, that might be a bit much for you. So maybe a lighter keyboard might be something that you're looking at. So like I say, this isn't going to be for everyone. It is a cheap laptop, and it is basically, it has actually got Windows 11 on it, but I'd probably say Windows 10 would be more preferable. And it can run Windows 11. I probably should say the specs before we go further. So the specs of this one are the Intel i5 6400, which is a 2-core 4-thread processor, which is adequate for what you need. I mean, it's only a £100 laptop, so that's not, you know, let's not kid ourselves. It's certainly not. It's not a fantastic processor, especially nowadays, but it's going to be enough to get your day-to-day tasks done. And it does actually come with 16 gigabytes of RAM, DDR, I think it's DDR4. I think it's only clocked at 2133 megahertz though. 6th gen Intel, so obviously it doesn't take those higher DDR4 modules yet. That isn't bad, and it does come with a 240 gigabyte SSD. The fact that you can get a £95 laptop with an SSD, I do think that's really good. and you will get very good boot times, and generally your performance will be far better than a traditional hard drive as well. So there's that to think about as well. I do think I got a bit of a bargain here actually for £95. I think this is a really good laptop for that price. So yeah, like I said, the keyboard is quite nice. It is pretty much a full-size keyboard. Obviously you don't have like your numpad down this side. I don't think many laptops actually do have a numpad down the side. There might be a few that do, but most of them don't. And you can always just use the numbers at the top, obviously, so that's not really a problem. It does have this little kind of like, I don't know what you call that, like an actuator thing or something, like for your mouse in the middle of the keyboard there, which you can move the mouse around. But I think most people are just going to use the trackpad down there at the bottom with the two buttons. It does obviously have the buttons at the top as well, which you can use as well. I think most people are just going to use the bottom buttons and the trackpad. And the power button is just at the top corner there. So pretty much a standard layout for a laptop, but not bad. Start at the right hand side and then we'll move round to the back of the laptop, and then obviously the left hand side. So the ports at the right hand side, if you can see that on the camera hopefully, we have a headphone jack, we have a USB port, which I think might be USB 3, but I'm going to say USB 2. I think it is USB 2 because it is only black, so it probably is only USB 2. We then have a Metasonic VGA port, which obviously nowadays you're probably never going to use, but it's there. And then we do have our Kensington lock as well. We then have our Gigabyte Ethernet, or actually I don't know whether it's Gigabyte, it might only be 100 megabits a second Ethernet. But I'll put it below exactly all the specifications so you know. We then have a HDMI port, so if you want to plug in your external monitor, your external HDMI monitor, you can, which is obviously nice if you're maybe like wanting to use this from like work from home or something like that. So you can use your main laptop monitor and then obviously have a second monitor as like an additional monitor to use while you're working from home. So that's actually quite nice. We do have then another USB port, which again I think is a USB 2 port, which isn't bad. And then we have our power brick, well, our power barrel cable for our power brick. And I think the power brick is pretty much a sort of like a 65 watt standard sort of laptop brick, but I can get that as well if you need to. I'll put that below if needed. We then have what looks like a USB-C port, which I think it is a USB-C port, but if it's not, I'll put it below. But I mean, that was obviously USB-C was very new at the time, so to actually have that on a laptop was pretty impressive. And then we have another USB port, which again I think is only USB 2, but again I'll put all the details below exactly. And then we have an SD card sort of reader, although when I did test this SD card reader it didn't actually work, so I don't know whether it actually works yet, but I think it should work obviously, but I've tried to update the firmware and it hasn't actually resolved it. But anyway, it's a cheap laptop and you can use the USBs instead if you're going to use an SD card, so I don't really see that too much of a problem. Let's do like the one hand test to see whether we can open it with one hand, which, well, we can't actually. We do need the second finger just to hold it down while we open the the screen there, just so you know. So there is a bit of weight to it, you know, it isn't. Now in terms of the underneath, I will potentially do another video if you guys want me to, actually taking off the bottom and then actually replacing the SSD, or moving the SSD out and then putting it back in, and then obviously swapping the RAM as well. But in this video we're not going to cover that. But if you do, obviously comment below if you do want to see that, and I'll consider that. I think basically it's pretty simple. There's just some screws at the bottom which you just take out. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, there's 3 screws, 4 screws, I know 6 screws there, and then there's 2 more at the bottom there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that will just come out pretty easy. Now there isn't actually any external like battery brick sort of thing. There isn't like an external battery thing which you can obviously plug in. Some people might like that, but I'm not really too bothered because, you know, again, battery life isn't really a big issue with older laptops, because I think most people probably are never going to, or probably most likely aren't going to use the battery just on its own. They're probably just going to move it around and have it as a, you know, you're going to plug it in while you're going to use it anyway. So battery life, I think, is kind of to be expected, going to be pretty poor. I think it's only about 2 hours on this laptop, or not even that. But when I use it anyway, it will literally, I'll be plugging it in 100% of the time anyway, so I'm not bothered about battery. But yeah, I think let's. I think now we've kind of talked about the laptop enough. I think we can do like a little performance benchmark and just sort of see what this can do. Obviously, just to give you a little bit of an idea, if you are interested in maybe getting like a cheap laptop or a cheap sort of 6th gen or 7th gen or even 8th gen laptop, and just to give you an idea of sort of what these old devices can do these days. So yeah, let's just do the initial switch on. I've plugged it in with the wire as well, so we're going to have full power to the laptop. There we go. This will kind of give you an idea on the boot sort of time as well. Boot time is actually quite impressive. I think it was about 25-30 seconds, which when I tested it before, so it's actually it's not bad. Obviously with the SSD in there, it's going to be a lot faster. If you've got an old hard drive, I would certainly take the old hard drive out and put an SSD in, because these older laptops really do benefit with an SSD in now, and you can get so much more performance out of them by just swapping the old hard drive for an SSD. So some of these old laptops, to a lot of people, they might be just old laptops which aren't really usable, but like I say, if you can put an SSD in, you can still get a lot of life out of these older laptops, and they're still worth it in my opinion. Obviously, like I say, if you want in gaming, you're not going to get that, but you know, it isn't bad. So what I'll do is I'll just get Cinebench now, and we'll just do a little test on that. So yeah, it's actually an i5 6300U. I got that wrong. Sorry, it wasn't the 6400. Apologies about that. For some reason we're using 100% utilization, but sometimes you can get that with these older laptops. You can get 100% quite a lot, which is something, you know, it is a bit of a problem, because really a 2-core 4-thread CPU, it is a bit too old now, but you can still get enough usability out of it. Obviously from our memory side, we're not using much memory at all with our 16 gigabytes, and like I said, it was clocked at 2133 megahertz. And our SSD is going to be pretty fast as well, so that's not bad. Our 256, and obviously with our inbuilt Wi-Fi and our integrated graphics, mighty integrated graphics, guys. Let's just do a multi-core basically and just see where it goes. General sort of day-to-day use, I think was fine. Let's actually put a video on from some kind of random YouTuber guy. I don't know. There we go. There he is. So let's watch our last video, the Logitech one. In today's video, it's quite loud. We're taking an unboxing and overview of the Logitech G435 gaming Bluetooth headset and wireless headset too. This is a kind of a fairly cheap headset from Logitech, the G435. Now there is higher models than this, obviously, but this is kind of like... Now let's try 4K and see if that works. Headphones, wireless and Bluetooth headphones for sort of gaming headset sort of thing. I think I paid about £40 for this, which I think is a decent deal in the Amazon Prime sale, which has just recently gone. So yeah, let's just take an unboxing and then we'll just take a little overview and go from there. Now, £40 isn't much for a headset, is it? Let's be fair. So overall, it's actually pretty good. I'm not expecting the sound quality to be absolutely top notch. So yeah, overall, it does seem to be streaming quite well. I mean, I certainly think for general YouTube and general sort of Excel and what have you. Actually, we've got Excel on. Okay, we don't actually have. Let's try Word. We've got WordPad. That'll do. Like I say, general day-to-day tasks, watching YouTube, doing a document, doing general admin tasks and what have you. You're going to be fine with this laptop. But like I say, once you're kind of going past that sort of day-to-day tasks, and you want to do, even if you want to do like casual gaming and stuff like that, it's probably going to be too much, unfortunately. Hello world. Hello world. It is actually quite usable, to be fair. It's not actually that, you know, it isn't that bad. And the speakers actually weren't too bad there. They were actually quite loud as well. They weren't the best quality, but they were alright. I'll play a little bit more and then we'll just wrap up. But anyway, let's just see what it can do. You know, it's still Logitech. It's a Logitech product, so it's got to be quality. Logitech, I've always sort of brought off Logitech and always thought they're a very good brand, so should all be good. Keep playing there, it said. Okay, so yeah, like I say, general day-to-day tasks are going to be fine. And there you go, you can see the specs there if you really want to see the specs. But what we'll do now, I think we'll wrap it up because there's not really too much more I can go through with this laptop. So yeah, overall I think the Dell Latitude 5480 is actually a pretty decent day-to-day laptop for your everyday sort of needs. And I think for £95, or why pay for £95, it's not bad. These are pretty regular on eBay actually, sort of similar models. You might even get like a HP model instead. I think the HP Elite, I think it is. I think the other laptop's called. That's kind of similar to this sort of laptop. It's, you know, you're probably talking about between £100 to maybe £150 that you're going to pay for this sort of laptop, which is kind of the equivalent of what you're going to pay for a Chromebook anyway. And I do think the build quality is far better in a proper laptop than a Chromebook. I don't like the Chromebooks personally, but it is each to their own. Some people might like a Chromebook just for day-to-day tasks and what have you, but like I say, I'd rather just go with an older laptop and do all your day-to-day tasks. I mean, I'll probably just be using this for putting these videos onto the from the SSD from the SD card into the USB port here, and then obviously just getting everything on this laptop, put it onto my USB pen, and then I'll be taking it home to do all my video editing, obviously. So that's probably what I'm going to be using it for. Maybe might even do some kind of capture from other PCs where I can use a little USB capture card. That could also be a use for it as well. So I think I'm going to have a fair amount of use from this laptop, so I think it's worth having it around. Like I say, it's very small as well, so you know, if I am doing like PC builds and I've kind of stuck on something or just need something just to check up on something, I can just grab the old laptop, get the old internet up and then see what the issue is and be able to solve it. And it's also quite a nice screen as well, I think. You know, it did look quite nice when I was viewing the videos there. I think it was actually quite clear and it was quite alright in my opinion. It's not like an IPS screen. It's not going to be particularly great. I think it's like a VA screen or something, or you know, just like a standard laptop screen. It's nothing special, but it's going to get the job done for a lot of people. So hope you like this little bit of an unusual video, guys. It's a little bit different. I know some people might not like this and some people might not even think about watching these sort of videos because it's not sort of what I usually do on this channel, but I just wanted to do something different. And if you guys like it, do let me know, and we could potentially do more sort of looks at cheaper laptops or cheaper hardware. You know, there could be other sort of hardware that I might look at as well. I don't want to just limit myself to PC gaming only, so you know, I do want this channel to be a little bit broader, so this is why I'm trying to do maybe a few different sort of videos as well. Obviously some videos which are a little bit more cheaper as well, which is obviously something I need to look at because I can't be spending massive amounts of money on every single video. So yeah, something different for you guys. I hope you did like it, and let me know in the comments if you did and what improvements you think I can make. And obviously, as always, I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye, guys.